Hey everyone, the MCU is back. I mean, I know it's kind of been back for a while with the Disney Plus shows, and I mean, listen, those are definitely major parts of the MCU, but it is still. I think there's something about it being a natural, a full on movie that kind of makes it feel more like the typical MCU experience. That's what we've gotten mostly for the past, like what is it, fucking 13 years now. So, that's pretty cool. We're going to talk about this movie that's called Black Widow, a movie that should have come out probably at least 5 years ago. So, we're going to start with some spoiler free stuff. Because this is a movie and it's not a TV show, which is kind of harder to do spoiler free stuff for that. There's not a ton to spoil. We are eventually going to move into spoiler stuff, but keep in mind, as per usual, if you don't want to know anything about this movie, then don't listen to any part of this review because we might accidentally let something slip that's a spoiler, as Sebastian is sometimes prone to doing.
Yes.
Or we might just say something that we don't think is a spoiler, but you do. So, disclaimer. So Sebastian,
Yes.
this is the first MCU movie for the past 2 years. How did you enjoy this particular entry into the franchise?
Certainly wasn't bad. Certainly wasn't a bad movie by any means. Would have been nice to have it sooner, with the whole sickness and whatever virus going around, couldn't happen.
See, but I don't think even that's. I think they should have released this movie in like 2017. Like this should have been released around the time where it's set. I think.
I do agree with that. Still, I think this should have been released way sooner. It would have been nice to have at least. I would have felt a little bit more sad about what happened to her in Endgame. I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually told. I might have told you this, but when I saw Endgame, I didn't realize this movie was going to be a prequel. So I knew she had a movie coming up, and I knew Hawkeye had a TV show. So I was like, well, none of them are going to die. And then she died, and I was like, well, shit. She's not going to stay dead because obviously she has a movie coming out. And then she, at the end of the movie, I was like, wait a second, she's still dead. So that kind of threw me for a loop a little bit, confused me. But
Yeah. So yeah, would have been a bit more sad if I'd seen this movie beforehand and then she died, and I would have been like, damn, it's kind of sad.
damn, now we actually have some time to get to know her as a character, unlike all of the previous
Yeah, exactly.
MCU movies.
Exactly. But I thought it was a pretty good movie. It wasn't the best though.
I quite enjoyed this. I
It
think
was an enjoyable movie.
for me, this is mid tier, but it's like the upper end of mid tier. I think this is a little bit above the average MCU quality, I would say. But yeah, so we're gonna walk through some shit, I guess. Again, mostly kind of trying to keep things, low key, not too spoilery right now. We got some more characterization of Black Widow here. That being said, I didn't feel like we got enough. Maybe is that just me?
Enough what?
Enough Black Widow in this Black Widow movie, like in terms of fleshing out her as a person and kind of like there. I don't feel like there was a whole lot of new stuff to her arc here.
I mean, no, there definitely wasn't. I feel like we got more of a bit. I don't know. There wasn't a lot. I mean, that we got Black Widow.
Yes.
We got a bit more of her backstory, which is what most people wanted, but it's still very obscure, kind of.
Yeah, and the other thing though is we get 10 minutes of actual flashback, and then we get just kind of references to the rest of it throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah. I was hoping to see her more in the Red Room rather than her, like, before the Red Room, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like the Red Room, we've seen enough of it already, of her time in the Red Room, and we didn't see too much, but we did see some of it in Age of Ultron, and I feel like.
But that's it, though. I kind of want to see a bit more.
I don't. What else would you want to see from that? Like, I don't really know where they would take that.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I really like her in this movie, but I do feel like maybe, and I get kind of also why they didn't maybe spend as much time pushing her arc to the forefront, because this is also kind of about building the next generation of the Black Widow legacy.
Yeah.
So I did they want to develop those other characters and push them forward. But I maybe would have liked a little bit more from her arc here. So this sees the inclusion of David Harbour as Alexei, whose last name I don't remember, but also known as the Red Guardian. It's still a bit of a bummer that David Harbour is not playing Ben Grimm, because I think he would have been really great in that role. But how did you like the Red Guardian?
I thought he was going to be like the Russian Captain America. I thought he was going to have a shield. He never had a shield.
He doesn't really have a shield in the comics, I don't think. Not at least not like Captain America does.
I thought he had a shield, but he never had a shield.
I can pull up a reference image right now.
I feel like he was a lot of just comedic relief. I don't know.
That was kind of his role. I think a lot of that does work.
Oh no, yeah, definitely.
There are some points where I'm like, maybe you don't need to throw in a joke there to try to relieve the dramatic tension, because it kind of, this does, I feel like, get a little bit into that territory that a lot of other Marvel movies do, which is they throw in a lot of jokes and quips and stuff to offset the tension, but in doing so, it can also make some of the scenes lose a little bit of their impact, potentially. I don't think this one goes as far with that as something like, I don't know, Ant-Man and the Wasp, maybe, for example. But it is kind of there a little bit. But I do think David Harbour has some really good, fun moments.
Yeah. It's just and he's very different, because out of all the women you see, they're all like super spies, and then he's like the exact opposite of them. He just does things out in the open and just faces everything like head on. He doesn't sneak around, everything like that, and he was very different from the rest of the movie.
Yeah, you get the impression that in his heyday he was like a super celebrity. Yeah. So, but I don't know. David Harbour's a good actor. I'd love to see him pop up again in something. Also, I do really like that, even though it's not much, they did throw in a Crimson Dynamo reference in there, which I really enjoyed. Hopefully, that doesn't mean that we'll never see the Crimson Dynamo in the MCU, because he's my favorite Iron Man villain. But I was good to see that reference. So we also got Rachel Weisz's, or how do you pronounce her last name? Is it Weisz?
I thought it looks like Weiss.
Because I've heard other people say Rachel Weisz, and I don't fucking know.
Weiss.
So yeah, I don't know.
Okay, anyway.
I think she's underused. Because
Hmm.
Rachel Weisz is really good. Like, she's in the first two Mummy movies, and she's really good in those. I like her as an actor. I don't think they really give her quite enough to do. She doesn't get a whole lot of screen time, and as a result, I feel like some of the moments that they try to play as kind of big emotional moments for that character in relation to other characters doesn't necessarily land as well, because we haven't seen as much of her in terms of screen time.
Okay. I didn't mind that she had low screen time, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it felt like it was like she was like the old Black Widow, and then there was the current Black Widow, and then the new Black Widow that there was going to be. So it was just like, it felt like, yeah, it's just been like, you're the old generation, focus on the new, okay, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just think she's a really great actor, and I think she should have maybe gotten more screen time, because I think she's great. And then the other kind of new character that rounds out the cast is Yelena Belova, played by Florence Pugh, and for me, she was absolutely the highlight of this movie. I think she is great. She's really funny. You've noted that she has some really funny bits, but also I think she has the one emotional moment that actually landed really well for me. When they're all together around the table. I don't want to say too much in the specifics, but in case people will consider that a spoiler. But when they're all kind of around the table and they're talking about kind of their past a little bit and the family dynamic, I think she does really great there, and she's great. And I think it's been reported that she's going to be in the Hawkeye series. That's been news for a while now, so I can say that, which I'm really glad. I think I'm really happy that they seem to be pushing her forward into the forefront a little bit, because I think she's great, and I'm really looking forward to see where they take that character.
Yeah, I really liked her too. I thought she was hilarious. I liked the whole like she was trying to still be like a family, even though like nobody else really considered themselves that close
Yeah,
until they like considered her, and then they were like, yeah, you know what, we probably are though.
right. And I think that family dynamic in terms of the other characters can feel a little bit rushed sometimes, but because they built more of the movie around the relationship between Natasha and Yelena, I do feel like those characters had enough of a connection on screen so that when she went into that emotional scene, I feel like it landed a lot better than maybe some of the other ones did.
Yeah.
We have some villains here. I guess we can kind of just lump these together because they're both not very great. Dreykov. I guess they were going for kind of like an Alexander Pierce kind of dude, just a normal guy is kind of the main villain, and he's in some of the trailer footage. I don't know. Ray Winstone is apparently a very prolific actor. I don't think I've seen anything he's done, but I just did not think he was very compelling.
No, he was just honestly, he was just a guy.
Yeah.
The mastermind of everything, and it was just like, okay.
Yeah. Taskmaster, I think, is a little bit better. I know you have got some qualms with that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to save some of that for spoilers a little bit, but I would just say, I think as a villain, Taskmaster is pretty cool. There's some cool scenes of Taskmaster just being like kind of a tank and really just dealing out some damage, which is cool. But they are very one-dimensional, and it was a little bit like, okay, I guess they're just kind of like a force of nature in this movie or something, like a big horrifying monster person or whatever, which is cool, but I do feel like there's a little bit of missed potential there.
I like the whole idea behind Taskmaster was amazing. It looked amazing in the trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
But then when it came to the actual movie, they just, I don't know, it just felt really short for me. Like they didn't perform to what I really wanted, man. Mm-hmm. Like the only time that they really like I was like loving them was that first fight scene.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the best action sequence in the movie. It's in the trailers. It's where Taskmaster blows up the car on the bridge, and Natasha and Taskmaster have a little punch up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the best.
But on the other hand, I know there are a lot of people who are disappointed with Taskmaster, but I don't think I've ever read a comic with Taskmaster in it. I am familiar with his power set from the comics, and I know obviously what he looks like in the comics. And there was that, he's obviously in that crap Avengers game. But yeah, good game. It's not. It's
good game.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think they're just it's a little bit of a it's just very one-dimensional in this, which I think is a little bit of a missed opportunity. And then you have the other widows noted down. Do you want to say anything about them? Again, they're in the trailer. You see them beating up Natasha in the trailer.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention them because technically they're
they're there.
Yeah.
They don't really do a whole lot, but they are there.
You don't see them very often. But
yeah, I will say, I really like the first 10 minutes. I think that because that's and it's in the trailers. That's the flashback sequence. I think it's really cool, and there's a good little action sequence in there. It's cool.
Honestly, I don't know if I cared for it too much.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't
know,
man.
Not
I didn't really care for it, man. Like, what was the point of showing us that? I just really don't know. It was
to build a connection and to show how they got to the Red Room and to show how they were a deep cover spy family.
Yeah, see, I guess, it made you think that was their real parents, and then you kind of just figure out, like, yeah, these guys.
I mean, I knew they weren't. Also, in Avengers Endgame, the Red Skull straight up says like Natasha's son of Ivan or something, and David Harbour's name is not Ivan's. It was a good little action sequence. Actually, here's something I want to talk about. Did this feel like it had a darker tone than a lot of other Marvel movies?
Honestly, not really. Honestly, no. I don't think so.
See, I felt like it kind of was a little bit darker. I don't know if it was just that that like opening credits scene that's set to a very sad rendition of another song. It's like a cover. Maybe that just felt like it put the movie in a darker place tonally. But I feel like this was a little bit of a darker movie than some of the others, especially the first half. Like basically until David Harbour gets there, I feel like a lot kind of darker tonally.
I don't know. I feel like Yelena kind of kept it up lighthearted a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if it, yeah.
Oh, also General Ross is in this movie. He's in the trailers as well. He really doesn't do a whole lot though, so we can probably just move on. I do think though, without going too far into spoilers, and I didn't really mind this, but looking on it, I'm like, the whole kind of plot thing is that they're going around and just kind of recruiting different people, and they're all asking them the same question over and over again. And they're like, well, I don't know. Well, let's ask this person. And they're like, well, I don't know. Let's ask this other person. And they're like, oh, I know. So let's do this. It's I feel like that's maybe a little bit of a weird way to structure a story. It kind of feels like a bunch of video game side quests or something.
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, it is what the movie was, though.
Yeah. I didn't remind
the same question.
Yeah, but I did see somebody else bring that up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. And then we do get, and this has been revealed in like behind the scenes interview, but Scarlett Johansson said plenty of times that this movie does kind of flesh out Budapest a little bit. That is technically true, but it doesn't do very much of it, to the point where part of me is like, why did they even bother putting that in there? Because
I was hoping to figure out more about Budapest in this, but we really didn't get honestly that much.
I mean, we did a little bit. We did kind of a little bit of a rundown of, Natasha kind of talked about what happened a little bit. Based on the description, though, that line in the first Avengers where Natasha said this is just like Budapest. From the explanation that she gave, it sounds nothing like Budapest. So I don't really know why that thought popped into her head, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. We can talk about the action scenes a little bit here before we get into some spoiler stuff. Generally, I think it's okay, but I think it does get worse as the movie goes on.
Action?
Yeah.
For Taskmaster, yes. For Black Widow, I think her peak was best fight scene for her. I feel like for me was when they were we're in spoilers now.
Not quite.
Well, I'm gonna go a second fight scene then.
I mean, but here's the thing: all of the action sequences are in the trailers. Like, there's a clip from every action sequence in the trailer.
Yeah.
So are you because I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the peak for Natasha was the Natasha versus all the other Black Widows?
No, that's not the second fight. That's not our second fight.
The second fight is the Taskmaster one.
That would be her first fight.
Her first fight. Well, then the second one that's Natasha versus Yelena then, right?
Third fight.
The big old tank.
That's not a fight. She didn't fight.
What the hell are you even talking about?
I'm talking about when they're saving Alexei. Gosh darn it.
Oh, right. I didn't even think about that. See, I think that one was kind of weak, actually.
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it looked cool.
I don't know. I feel like
swinging out of the helicopter and stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I just felt like it was a little bit. They just kind of. I didn't feel like there was anything too spectacular in that sequence. I don't know. For me, I think the best action scene in general was the first Taskmaster fight.
That one was amazing. That one was really good.
But I think that first fight is also that first Taskmaster fight is the only real place where I really got a sense of the mimicking power.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't really come into play much more often, which is a shame. I think there's that I feel like really is a missed opportunity there, because you can do so much cool stuff with that, and it just kind of never eventuates. But yeah, for me, I really like the Natasha versus Yelena fight. I liked the one where they're fighting the big old tank. I mean, I think the third act kind of climactic action sequence is a little bit
It was a little weak. It's
just
a little
nothing.
weak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red Guardian versus Taskmaster. That one was really bad, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't really like
That
the.
just tumbling through the sky was kind of just like nothing to me. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't even a fight. It was just them free falling.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna fight in the sky, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be cool," but no, it wasn't.
Yeah. So I know you like the Natasha versus the Widows fight, yeah?
I thought it was well, like done. I thought it was well choreographed. I thought her like basically beating the crap out of basically all of them until like towards the end. It was really cool. I just thought it was well done fight.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I think some of the choreography might have gotten a little bit samey there. And then the last fight, which is not in the trailer, so I won't go into specifics, but I think you probably know the one I'm talking about. It's on the ground.
Yes.
That one was really bad. I was like, what just happened?
Really bad.
So that's a bummer, but whatever. I guess we're probably gonna move into spoilers here for a little bit. There's not too much to say in spoilers, but before we do, what would you rate this movie?
All right, I'll read off all the ratings first. So IMDb.
I don't know why you like to do that.
IMDb gave it a 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 80%, and Metacritic has it at 68%.
Oh wow, that's low.
Yeah, it's a little low for Metacritic. But me personally, I think I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I think that's where it falls for me. Probably more 7.5, honestly. Is where I would give it.
I would give it an 8, I think. It feels solid to me. I think actually for me this was kind of a nice change of pace to just get kind of a nice fun action thriller when it's just because compared to the stuff that's been coming out, we've had WandaVision, which is just fucking strange. Falcon Winter Soldier is fairly similar to this. I think this is better than Falcon Winter Soldier though.
Yes, definitely. The Falcon Winter Soldier starts off slow for me.
Okay.
And then gets into it.
Right. And then Loki, which I think is great. It's still very just so strange. So it was kind of nice to have just a little nice small scale story where they're just fighting some kind of low level villains.
It is a nice change of pace from TV shows where you have to wait a whole week before you figure out more.
Yeah,
whereas this one you can sit through it all and you're like, oh man, movies. This is what it's about, like.
Man, I
nice
missed the MCU movies, man. And that's the other thing is that I might be a little bit more positive on this one because this is the first time I've seen a new MCU movie in over 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
So I was just really happy to just be able to watch it at all. So I think that maybe I'm a little bit more positive on it because of that. But I still think it was really good.
It was a good movie though. It was a good movie. Good movie.
Yeah, I liked it. Spoiler time. We don't have too much to discuss here. We can talk about the Taskmaster reveal a little bit. It's underwhelming.
I hated it.
It's like I'm so confused why they. I mean, you wrote down why do they always have to take off the mask? I think that's valid. There's no reason for this to be a reveal as to who the identity of this character is because they're kind of nothing character. They could have just been a random person.
Just some dude that they trained in the Red Room or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't need to have a whole like, oh, this is the big reveal. But the other thing is, they play it like it's such a big reveal that it's Dreykov's daughter. But I didn't care. I was like, we haven't seen this character, so like, I was like, okay, I guess that's kind of interesting, maybe. But I was like, you're playing it like it's a big reveal, like it's somebody that we already should know. But really, you've just explained who this person is a little bit earlier in the movie, and we haven't had like any screen time with them. So there's no reason for me to care that this person in particular is who the Taskmaster is. I think if they were going to do a reveal as to who like the Taskmaster was, I think they should have made it Melina. I think that would have been interesting.
I don't know about that one either, honestly. I would have just rather, I don't know, just kept it like a secret. Like, sure, she works directly with Dreykov or whatever. Dreykov made this person, whatever.
I don't know. I think they could have just cut that whole reveal thing, and it wouldn't really have changed much about the movie. I don't know though. Whatever. I don't really care. It didn't detract too much, but it was like, why bother? Why not just make it nobody?
I would have much rather preferred it to just be nobody. It would have supposed to be some mercenary dude, and that would have been amazing.
So then we also, the only other real spoilery thing is I didn't say the ranking of this in the movie. Oh, that's fine, I'll just do it at the end. The post-credits. We only get one this time, which is kind of rare for Marvel movies. We normally usually get two. But I guess that comes from the fact that they only had like one set of credits as opposed to the two sets of credits that they normally have, because they put the first set of credits at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know why they were going back to doing that at the beginning of the movie. I prefer it when they're all at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked the credits here because I think they set the tone pretty well. But I do agree. I was like, really? We're going back to this? This is strange.
Yeah, I like we're going backwards in time in movies, and I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to. I prefer them at the end.
To be fair, this movie is also going backwards in time in terms that it's set in like 2016 or whatever.
Okay, yeah, but even then we were still doing it.
Yeah, no, I know. But yeah, so there were rumors going around, I think possibly as early as like last March, this might have been leaked, that good old Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine is in the end credits here. And she's like, "Hey, Yelena, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative." I mean, she doesn't say that, but that's the kind of vibe I got.
Well, it kind of seemed like Yelena already knew, like she worked with Valentina already.
Right. So they're setting up the Thunderbolts, right? That's what this is?
I think so.
Yeah. Or maybe they're going to do like Dark Avengers. Maybe they'll call it Dark Avengers to like kind of maybe get more people in from the Avengers brand. But I mean, that seems to be the direction they're going. And it looks like based on this that that Hawkeye is going to be setting that up as well. This does, if it previously wasn't directly confirmed, this does pretty much confirm that she will be in the Hawkeye show, Yelena, which is great. I'm looking forward to that. Especially, I'd love to see her interaction with Kate Bishop as well, because I think that could be really fun. But yeah, I don't know. What'd you think of the scene?
I thought it was like I was saying, like if we had seen, like they wouldn't have been able to do this if they had brought it out sooner, like we had wanted. But like I said, I would have felt more from her death beforehand if we had seen this movie beforehand.
Right.
But I thought it was, it's a sad one. You realize like, yes, she did have a family, even though in Endgame they were like, nah, she doesn't have a family. She kind of did.
Right. Well, it's not like the Avengers would have known that anyway.
No,
so
no,
them,
yeah,
they
exactly.
were, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure. We learn that she did have a family
Right.
in the end, and it's just like, that's a bit sad to realize this.
Yeah.
But overall, a good one.
You got
one of the better ones.
Speculation for how this will tie into the future of the MCU?
I mean, besides the fact that it was just like, oh yeah, she's gonna be in Hawkeye now. No, I mean, really no. And Valentina's there. She already met what's his face? Agent
Walker.
Yeah, Agent America. Is that what?
US agent.
That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Besides that, like, no.
I think this is the best post-credit scene of Phase 4 this far. But
it's really the only one.
I mean, that's not true. In Falcon Winter Soldier, there was the one where Sharon's like, "I'm back in the U.S. and now I'm all good to be evil." And then WandaVision had the one where
apparently, did you hear that they changed that? Apparently,
I did hear about that. That's super weird.
I haven't looked at like what exactly they changed about it though.
So okay, we can talk about this briefly here. Basically, so and I've watched like a kind of a breakdown on this as well. There is like a weird like shadow that's kind of like flying over the land a little bit. That's nothing. That's a visual effects thing. There was a previous visual effects issue apparently in the post credits, and that was something to do to remove that part from the original version. But then they just kind of left it in the entire scene, so it's just kind of floating along until it matches up with that place. But they also like removed some like ducks from the lake, and they added more trees with visual effects. So there's some theories that is a scene that's going to be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and that they have tweaked it so that it lines up with that scene in that movie.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know if that's true, but yeah, it is super weird that they changed it. So that is very interesting. But then so WandaVision had that one. It also had the Skrull comes down to talk to Monica Rambeau.
That's true.
So actually, I'm curious. So where would you rank Black Widow in terms of what we've seen of Phase 4 so far?
I'd put it above Falcon Winter Soldier, but below WandaVision.
I would put it above both Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision,
Mm-hmm.
but probably below Loki. I mean, Loki hasn't finished yet, so Loki could just completely collapse.
I really hope it doesn't, because I'm really enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
Really hope it doesn't just have a poop ending.
Yeah, but that was my issue with WandaVision. Not that I think the WandaVision finale is terrible, but I think it is a little bit of a letdown.
Small, tiny.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm still thinking Kang might show up, but it might be a different version of Kang. Like it might be Immortus or something. Yeah. So yeah, and then in terms of like ranking in like kind of in relation to the other movies, I would put this. I think I put this at 9th place. Coming in right below Spider-Man Homecoming and right above, this is probably going to make you upset, but right above the first Avengers.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit higher than I thought you were placing it.
Yeah.
For me, I don't really have a ranking, so I'm just going to go with, like, I would have put it probably somewhere in the middle. I don't know if I would have put it above Avengers.
Yeah.
But it would definitely would have gone like middle of the list for sure.
So you're thinking kind of like maybe Doctor Strange or like maybe Guardians 2 kind of quality?
Probably more Guardians 2, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just Black Widow it's just below Black Widow is Avengers, then Doctor Strange, then Guardians 2 for me. So I'm kind of I'm very similar in that ballpark. I think I just it's more that I rate Avengers lower than a lot of other people do, I think. Yeah, you got anything else to add before we wrap this thingy up?
I do not.
All right. This is already kind of gone long.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, my opinion about this movie now. I want to see what you think about this, right?
Okay.
I think this movie should have came out instead of Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah.
And then Captain Marvel should have come out after Endgame.
Uh-huh.
And then it would have been Spider-Man Far From Home to finish everything up, to finish off Phase 3.
Okay.
Simply because, so you would have learned Black Widow's backstory, and then you would have seen her die, right?
Yeah.
And then you would have seen Captain Marvel in Endgame, but really only the final fight scene where she just comes in crashing through like everything. I don't know. They would have had to like change a bit parts of Endgame for this, but you would have seen her either. Well, you could have seen her at the beginning of the movie, saving Tony, right? She gets introduced to everybody, and then she comes back, at the end of Endgame, crashing through everything, and you realize how strong she is. And then you see her movie, and you get her backstory behind everything.
See, I think if you put Captain Marvel behind Endgame, you should maybe just see. I don't know. I don't know how, because I think a lot of why I don't like Captain Marvel is because it is just such a by the numbers origin story. And seeing that after Endgame would probably make me like that movie less. I do think actually that you could just slot this movie, not even really alter it at all, but just set it, instead of being set after Civil War, set it between Infinity War and Endgame, and like Natasha's kind of doing almost a Hawkeye Ronin kind of thing where she's going around tying up some loose ends. I think that could have worked really well, and I do agree with you there.
All right.
I don't know about the placement of Captain Marvel specifically, because I think even now, even before Endgame, which was this huge cosmic, insanity, just having a by the numbers origin movie for Captain Marvel was kind of dull for me. I'm hoping this will be better. I think it probably will be. Just it's set in the modern day now, and it's not an origin story. But I do think that putting it after Endgame might have made that movie less memorable, maybe, in my eyes. Not that it's super memorable to me as it is, but and it's strange because I came out of that movie pretty positive. I was very positive on Captain Marvel when I first came out, but after seeing just everything again and kind of looking at it as the pacing is all over the place and it's kind of a generic story, I don't like it as much anymore, and I don't know if putting it after Endgame would really have helped that for me.
All right.
Yeah, this is kind of run a bit long. We are also recording this a day after we would normally record a movie review, so I will try to have this up sometime soon. Thank you everybody for watching this video. If you liked the video, you can leave a like if you would like. Yes. And you can subscribe and hit that bell and everything so that you are always aware whenever we upload a new video, which is not very frequently, but and tell us what you thought of Black Widow in the comments. I think we're actually a little bit more positive on it than a lot of other people. I've seen a lot of people who are not really that into this one. But we will be back shortly. It's possibly actually that video might even come out before this one, but with a Loki full season kind of wrap up review thing, where I will be proven right that Kang is behind everything. The next movie review we'll be doing is in about a month away with the Suicide Squad, and then shortly after that is What If. So we're just going to be going all out for this shit.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks again for watching and stuff. And we'll see you with the next video thingy that we have up. Goodbye, and welcome to Space Jam: A New Legacy next time.
Oh, that should be one of my movies I make us review.
Oh God.
All right, goodbye.